Hi, and welcome to my video. Now, this is the first time I've done anything like this, so it's a little messy and clumsy, but I hope you enjoy it. Now, I just want to preface this by saying this is not a tutorial. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm an artist, but I haven't actually learned how to paint. I know the basics, dip brush in water, dip brush in paint, and then paint. But when it comes to properly applying techniques, I'm a complete noob. So consider this as me just kind of trying it out and hopefully improving as time goes by. And you kind of can tell I'm a noob when I'm painting the foreground before I paint the background. The smart thing would have been to just get the background out of the way and then, start adding the detail of the rock pillars. But for some reason, I decided to just make my life difficult and, see if I can actually do this rock pillar. I think that's one of the things I was afraid that I couldn't pull off. And even if I did manage to make a decent background, if my little stone pillars were terrible, then it wouldn't work. So I think that's my logic in why I started the foreground first. But ultimately, I think it turned out okay. Well, you'll see what I mean by the end. And, well, this is when my fluffy assistant Kitty decides to pop in and say hello. Being a complete nuisance, not helping at all. But that's just kind of how cats are. You don't make them move, you just learn to work around them. And as she's bothering me, I'm still trying my best to paint, not get any paint on her, as that's actually happened once before. Such a pain. But yeah, so she ends up lying down and, well, what can you do? She's a cat. You just gotta learn to deal with it, and I just try my best to continue working around her. Now, this is the part I regret a little bit. I think I went a little too crazy with the highlights. It's a lot of white, and while I think that it still turned out well in the end, they do say less is more sometimes. Of course, my little turd cat Kitty decides to start changing positions and moving around. And I use a washi tape to keep my card in place, and she decided she wanted to play with that, so I actually had to stop filming for a little bit and just wait for her to leave. Now, when I actually started to paint the background, I should have been smarter and started doing little marks to indicate what I wanted to do for the background, but I'm not very good at planning, so I just kind of went for it. I decided I was gonna give it a foresty background, just like you can kind of see in the original card. And then out of nowhere, I was like, you know what, let's put a lake, because if it was just an entire forest, I thought that'd be a little boring, and I thought with the blue of the sky and the blue of the lake, it'd make it look pretty nice, and I'm glad I did that, actually. Ultimately, I think it worked out for the best. Random fact, I've never played Pokemon Black and White, which is where Blitzle first came out. It's kind of weird because, according to some people in Pokemon standards, it's the best story-wise, and Pokemon isn't really known for its stories. I do want to play it, I plan to. I actually had the ROM for it, and I did play like the beginning part of it, but I never fully finished it. Hopefully, eventually, I'll get around to playing it. I actually want to get a legit copy instead of a ROM. I don't know, it's just nice to play on a little handheld, and I know you could play it on your phone as well technically, but I just want to play it on a good old 3DS. I did play the recent 2 games, Sun and Moon and Sword and Shield. What I really enjoy is the regional variants. Oh my god, I love Alolan Vulpix. And Kitty is back. Kitty 2, Electric Boogaloo. I'm like, please leave, but how can you get a cat to leave when they don't want to leave? So I end up moving the card and then moving the camera just, just so I could continue this video. Now, painting the sky was the part I was really looking forward to. I thought the sky looked really nice. I was really worried about matching the colors well. That's something I still struggle with, and it takes me quite a few tries to get the right colors, or even close to it. Man, it's so much easier to do it digitally, but there is some satisfaction to mixing and blending the colors and finally finding it, just like, oh, this is it, this is the one, this matches everything. One thing I realized about painting though is that it always comes off in the beginning as just blobs of colors and it doesn't look great. But then you start adding the little details, and that's when it starts to really come together. That's what I realized was really satisfying about painting. And still, in the early phases when I start altering and painting cards, I feel nervous that I'm not doing it right or it's not going to turn out well. But most of the time, it turns out satisfactory. One regret though is I wish I made a more, how do I explain it? I wish I made the clouds a little bit more rolling clouds. You know, when you read books, sometimes you'll see clouds described that way. Because you can see the little curls in the clouds of the original arts. I wish I followed that a little more. But hey, you live and you learn, right? This is when I start adding the lightning, which was really fun, but I struggled a little bit because I'm not used to using acrylic and I really wanted to get sharp lines, but I wasn't sure how to do it. It was kind of a pain, to be honest, but I got it done in the end, but I didn't love how it turned out exactly. But hey, good enough. I started making the forest, you know, just dotting things a little bit, adding some texture so that it looks like they're treetops, and hopefully I did pull that off somehow. A thing I like to do is I'll have multiples of the same card. Usually when you buy a pack, you will end up with multiple copies of one card, because that's how you're supposed to play the TCG. But with painting, I always try to have extra, just because if I mess one up, I can have another and try practicing on that. Or another idea is to just make it look completely different and see what other designs I could come up with. I think I might do that next time. Maybe in the near future. Same card, but try to come up with 2 different designs. Push myself a little bit, grow as an artist, be creative, and all that fun stuff. Now this is me putting the final touches of the card. I wanted to make the highlights around Blitzle a little stronger and more obvious, make it seem like he's glowing. Because he's such a little cutie, you know? Whatever he's doing up there, I hope he's having fun. And well, that's it. That's the end of it. Thank you for watching my video. I hope you liked it, and if you want, please subscribe. Hopefully I can make a new video soon.